Aloha beauties, welcome. My name is Digmara. I mentor women to access their higher self through breath work, meditation, and inner work. Today, I want to talk about homeschooling and how do I make it happen while running a successful business. So I have been homeschooling my children for over 12 years, but I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. Thrive with Digmara is my fourth business. My first business was a complete flop, but then my second two businesses collectively grossed multiple seven figures. So how did I make that happen? Okay, so what I'll do in this video is I'll answer, actually I've been getting questions, homeschool questions from some of my followers, so I will address those questions. What I'll do is, the question I get asked the most is, what curriculum do I use to homeschool my kids? Where do I order that from? So I'll address that at the end of the video, so make sure, if that's what you're interested in, make sure you watch to the end for that information. But the first question that I wanted to address today was, how do I strike that balance? And this was actually a question that I received from a follower today. So the way that I am able to homeschool and run a successful business at the same time is through a number of things. Number one is ensuring that I have buy-in from my children. Now, buy-in is, another way to put it is that my children are self-motivated to finish their school on a daily basis. Now, buy-in is a lot easier when your kids are older, right? So with my 14 and 16-year-old, we're at a point now where they understand the importance of having good grades and submitting everything on time. Okay, now my older two, they do online school, so they receive grades daily. Okay, we talk with them over the years. We've talked a lot about the importance of receiving good grades and what that means financially, right? I graduated with $40,000 worth of debt. If they don't want to take on a lot of student debt, they know that they can pursue sports or academic scholarships, but those are only available to them if they keep their grades up. So that they're self-motivated for that reason. They also understand that everything that my husband and I have, we've really had to work hard for it. It didn't come to us. It wasn't given to us. That we had to work for it. So they see the home we have. They see the beautiful ocean views and mountain views we have. They see the investment portfolios we have. They understand that all of that came through hard work. So that, and also within our house, we really have an entrepreneur spirit. So I think that really motivates them. Now, having said all that, what do you do with a child that's much younger and doesn't yet have the maturity level to understand all that? When my children were younger, I used a reward system a lot. Now, whatever that means to you, you know your children better than I do, so you will know what will motivate them. For my youngest, that is TV. So as I kind of laid out in my previous video, which you're welcome to check out, I think it's called Kids and Screen Time. When our children are younger, we severely limit TV until they can read really well. Well, my youngest now, he's 8. He's at a level where he can read really well, so he's allowed to watch 1 hour of TV per day. And I feel like that itself has just made life a lot easier on a lot of different levels, and homeschooling is definitely one of them. So what this means is, once he's done all of his school, and lunch is finished, he can watch 1 hour of TV. So I feel like that alone really makes things a lot easier for us, because we start the day off with my children, for the most part, being fairly motivated to just get their school done. And I feel like that makes my life a lot easier. My number 2 tip, and this is a big one for being able to balance homeschooling and running a business, is block scheduling. Okay, so I'm not necessarily a big scheduling person. I'm much more of a routine person, but I do follow a block schedule system It sounds a lot more technical than it is, but I do follow like a block schedule approach to my day. And what that means is I kind of like, I chunk out my schedule, or I chunk out my day. So I know roughly that school has to start by 9. And before that, I need to wake up, get myself ready for the day, and I need to do my, what I call my program or my mat time. And that is my breath work and my meditation and my journaling. Okay, so while I'm doing that in my office studio space, my children are inside having their breakfast. So that leads me to talk about breakfast a little bit, where I shop once a week. So I think that's the other part to being successful in your business as homeschooling, is making sure that your home systems are set up. So I grocery shop one day a week, and I make sure that our fridge, pantry, freezer are well stocked. And it's stocked with things, healthy things, but things that my children can get on their own. So I don't have to make breakfast for them. So when I wake up, my morning is kind of my own while they kind of take care of themselves. So I stock my freezer with a lot of frozen fruit. It's hot in Hawaii all the time. So they will just get themselves bowls of frozen fruit, which they love. And then they'll also do cereal or toast, or my older boys, they'll make themselves eggs, or they'll cook oatmeal, or I'll cook oatmeal, okay? And then once I'm done with my meditation, then I can go and, I can make them something more substantial if that's what they want, whether it's a protein smoothie or some, eggs or turkey bacon if they haven't done so already. So so in my morning time, and if I'm running late, then I'll make sure my kids are set up with their school before I sit down for my morning meditation, because my morning meditation is also a really key time for me to check in with myself, and to also channel content for my business, also to ground myself, to do inner work if it needs to be done. And so that's the time I do it, but I create a space, and my children are used to that. So that's kind of my first kind of small work block that I will kind of figure out what content am I posting for the day, and then I will I'll sketch it out I'll write it out in my journal, so I already know. And then if I have time, I'll already post the content. I'll check in with my followers very quickly if I have time. Otherwise, I then go and I sit with my youngest and get him started on his school if he hasn't, or if he has started, then he has started. If he hasn't, then I get him started, and I sit side by side with him. And while he does his school, I'll work on my social media platforms. So this is where I'll post content if I haven't. I'll respond to any DMs that I need to. This is also where I'll interact with my audience. Okay, and then I will homeschool my children. Like, my older two are fairly self-sufficient at this point, because they're older and because they do online school. But if I need to, definitely every day I am doing a little bit of something with them, whether it's, I'm proofing an essay, or I'm helping them a little bit with their math, or, looking at their day and how is it laid out, or what do they have due for the week. And so I'll finish up. But the majority of my time is used to homeschool my youngest. But my goal is to always be done school with him around 12 or 1 o'clock. And then we will do lunch. And then if he has any reading that he needs to finish up, or IXL, math or grammar on his iPad, then he finishes that up. And then it's screen time for him. For 1 hour, and then he gets to go play outside after that. And it's during that time that's my work block. So I'll have lunch, and after lunch, if I can, I clean up a little bit at that time. I try to clean up lunch as I go, so I'll clean up at that time, and then it's my work block. And this is my really focused time, whether I'm doing calls, or I'm shooting videos, or I'm working on a new launch. That's really my quiet time in which I do that. So that's typically between 1 and 5, or 1:30 and 5, something like that. And then later, after, so that's my major work block. And then later in the evening, I will get on again if I need to, and just do a little bit more social media work. But I don't typically do very much social media work, interacting with social media in the middle. I typically will just do it like an hour in the morning and then an hour in the evening, and then just being very clear on my boundaries, because I feel like that can use up a lot of my time. The other thing that I want to mention is that I used to do, when my kids were younger, I used to use chore cards, and those chore cards, on them, it would list all the chores they had to do in the morning, and then the last one was report to mom. So that was something that was really useful. They were very clear about everything that they had to get done in the morning, whether it was make their bed, get dressed, brush their teeth, get themselves some breakfast. So that was really helpful. Now, lastly, what I want to do is talk about curriculum. So when my kids are younger, and this is from kindergarten to grade 6, we will do a best of breed approach. When I was first starting out, it was so much easier to just buy boxed curriculum. So I went and bought boxed curriculum from Calvert. And that just did not work for us, because for me personally, there was just way too much prep. I just didn't have the time. So I ended up going to a homeschool conference, and from there I kind of learned what the best of breed approach was, and I also refined it over the years. So now this is what we use. When my kids are younger, this is like kindergarten to maybe grade 2, 3. I used, at first I was using Math-U-See, but actually I didn't like that as much as I like Horizons. So we use Horizons for math, and then from grade 6 on, or grade 3 till about grade 6, we use Saxon. Now Saxon is tested and true. It's a really good math curriculum, and it transitions well into the upper grades, because now I've got my oldest is a junior, okay, and then my middle son is a freshman, and it just transitioned really well into that. For language arts, for penmanship, I use Handwriting Without Tears. For spelling, we use Spelling Workout. Even for the creative writing, I'm using a Handwriting Without Tears curriculum right now. For grammar, I do a combination of IXL Online Grammar and Easy Grammar. And then for reading, for the reading curriculum, we're doing a classical educational approach, and we are using Bookshark for that. For history, geography, I'm using Bookshark, and for science, I'm also using Bookshark. Now, before Bookshark existed, I used Sunlight, which is the faith-based version of Bookshark. Bookshark is the secular version of that, so I transitioned over to Bookshark once that was available. Now, where do I order my curriculum from? The two places that I order my curriculum from are Bookshark directly, and then from Rainbow Resource Center, rainbowresourcecenter.com. And rainbowresourcecenter.com by far has the best curriculum prices that I have found. So let me know if you have any additional questions. I hope that you find this video helpful. I hope that it inspires you to homeschool your children while pursuing running your own business. Both of those realms are so rewarding, and I feel that they complement each other really well. Aloha.